Hello everyone, I'm Niraj Mulani, the Director of Community at Product NX. Welcome to another episode of the Founder Spotlight series by Product NX, where we talk with startup founders as we dive deeper into what they're doing, their aspirations behind starting up, the challenges they face along the way, and much more. Today, I'm joined by Joshua Salins, co-founder of the Hobby Tribe, a platform bringing back the joy of hobby learning to people around the world. The Hobby Tribe is also part of the Product NX portfolio. Welcome, Josh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. It's pretty interesting, pretty excited to speak about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on board. And I've been following the great work you've been doing with the Hobby Tribe over the past few months. And I'm excited to dig deeper into all of it. I'd love to start right at the beginning. Could you tell me a little bit about the early days of the Hobby Tribe and how did you and the other two co-founders meet each other and figured that this is the team that will start a startup together?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even realize I was starting a startup when I started the startup. I didn't know the meaning of the word startup was, nor did I know what the meaning of co-founders were. What happened was in my early days, in my dad's a businessman himself, right? But he never gave me pocket money at all to run the company. I'm sorry, what I'm talking about company to do anything like whatever a teenage guy would want to do in life. But he told me, no, you got to make your own money and you got to do your stuff. So I was like, fine, okay. Now I'm a huge hobby enthusiast. Okay, so I play multiple instruments, sing, dance, act. I do a lot of dancing. Little. I've stopped dancing a bit now. My body has become really stiff. But apart from that, everything else. So what happened was, yeah, one day in church, somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, can you teach me the guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" He's like, "I'll pay you." I was like, "Wait a minute, you're going to pay me for teaching the guitar? He's like, how much would you charge me?" I said, no, back then I didn't know her. So I was just like, 300 bucks. He was like, done, 300 rupees per session. I was like, wait a minute, you're going to pay 300 bucks per session? That means 1,200 per month? He was like, yeah. Is it too much? I was like, perfect, let's do it. So what happened was, once I had that, I was like, dang, how can I make more? So I went and spoke to every single person I could find who wanted to learn guitar and filled my entire batch with them. More than 10 students in guitar. Then I was like, hey, I can teach singing also. Let me teach singing. So I started singing classes. I was like, hey, I can teach keyboard. I started teaching keyboard classes. That way I started making money, with more money than any of my friends were ever making them. So I started wondering, then my curiosity got the best of me and started asking questions. Why people don't pursue their hobbies? And there were three main reasons: time, travel, treasure, that I call the three T's, right? These are the three main reasons people don't pursue their hobbies. While doing all the simulation, I realized one thing early on, that if I could sell to a Sindhi, I can sell to the world. So my very important Sindhi in my life, I'm going to tell you about him soon. And he was one of my first customers. And every time I increased the rates of the class, he was like, "Bro, I think it's too much. Can we reduce the rates?" And that's when I realized, okay, fine. They're okay paying 1,300. Let's keep it at 1,300. So, 1,200, 1,300. So what happened was that we kept on growing. But then I realized one thing, that I was studying biomedical engineering and doing this together was getting really difficult. I was thinking, how can I diversify and not be at that same place at the same time, but have more students? So what happened was, like I said, the three main T's: time, travel, treasure. I started renting out places in my locality because I knew people didn't want to travel really far. So in the locality itself, with whatever money I used to make from these classes, I started renting out different places. Now I knew all of my musician friends could not sell at all. Like only they could do teach, they can't sell their classes. So I told them one thing: we go and sell the classes for you. You sit in those classes and I will get you the students. You pay me a commission from it. They were excited. They were like, yeah, definitely, man. That's a steal deal for us. We don't have to look for our own students. What I did was, then I went on to the gardens, I went to the train station, anyone I could hear singing, I was like, you come and sing, you get your girlfriend, I'll come, I'll give 50% off. So in that way, I used to fill up classes everywhere. I used to fill up classes. But then after doing all of this, the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, everything we worked on suddenly went to nothing. Because everybody was like, Arey, yaar, I don't want to join, I don't want to join because it's COVID, COVID, COVID. But then inside, I had this feeling, let's go online. So I went to my first customer, and this guy is a techie. And I knew that he is a good tech guy. So I asked him, hey, listen, I have an idea. Can you build a website where people can find out exactly the classes nearby to them? And he was like, yeah, bro, it sounds good. I was like, fantastic. But bro, I will call my friend. He's even better than me at coding. I was like, dude, you call the whole world. I have no money to pay you guys. So he was like, no, don't worry. We're also just coming out of college. It's fine. It's all right. I was like, fine, cool. So we started creating this platform. At the time, I was like, hey, let me talk to my school teacher, because I know all the 10th standard kids are all bored of their mind. So I went to the school teacher and asked her, hey, can we do something for 10th standard kids? She's like, yeah, please, they're all bored. I was like, fantastic. We can teach them whatever hobby class they want. So, ma'am, the teacher asked me, how many classes do you have? Now, believe me, we had only three classes, but in my excitement, I went and said, ma'am, any class you can ever think of, we have all of it. And then she went, wait, what? And within one day, she gave us like a list of 10 different classes. And that is when it came to our mind. Why are we only limiting ourselves to three guitar, keyboard, singing when we can do every class under the sun? So when we went and got all these teachers, it became such a massive success that we grew from three teachers to 150 teachers across India, and from only 10 students to more than 10,000 students all across the world. So that is how we grew into Hobby Tribe, and that's when my friend, the two guys who built the website said, "Hey, can we be called co-founders now?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, you guys actually deserve it." Yeah, so that's how Hobby Tribe was born. That was exactly how we grew it. From just an idea, not thinking of a startup, to something where we were like, "Dang, this could have endless possibilities."
That's a very fascinating story and a start to the startup, Josh. And this obviously brought upon a very interesting moniker for you, and now you're called the hobby man of India. I
Yeah.
know that this is richly deserved, but for the sake of our listeners as well, how did that come about for you?
What happened was, like, I put it out everywhere. I do a lot of music. I play a lot of instruments, sing, I dance, I act, like I said earlier, right? And there's a lot of videos of me as well online of me doing all this stuff. And because we were the first ones to even create a space like this, like a hobby tech space, is the word that we coined, called the hobby tech space. That is when interviewers interviewing me, the guy was like, dude, you can do everything. You're doing all of this and that. Oh, okay, interesting. Next morning, I get up and there's an article saying a chat with the hobby man of India. And I was like, wow, that kind of rings. I like the sound of that. Let's kind of use that. From that day, I like changed everything everywhere to the hobby man of India. I was like, this sounds good. I got to take this forward now. So yeah, that was how it came to being. So yeah, it's a very simple story actually.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very richly deserved because you are doing the great work of bringing so many people back to their hobbies itself. And coming specifically to the hobby tribe, for the benefit of our listeners again, tell us what a hobby tribe is and what are you trying to solve with it?
Yeah, so I want to ask the audience the question right now. Do you guys have a hobby right now? I can't see what you're going to do, but just bear with me. If you guys have a hobby, I wanted to think about how many of you actually participate in it. I think a lot of us have hobbies, but as we grow older, we sideline the hobbies that we love. Right? It happened a lot of times. And my main goal with Hobby Tribe was never to attract the kids at all. For me, it was more about the adults. I wanted the adults to get back into something that they love. Right? So what we do is, our main goal is to make people human again. And what I mean by that is, I want people to pursue their passion, something that they love again. So what we do is, we work with a lot of adults all around India, around the world as well, and make them pursue their hobbies, something that they love. And that's become like a huge thing, because we see a lot of testimonials coming out saying, you make us feel like a child again. We remember our childhood memories. We're able to connect with our long lost love. And I was like, wow, man, that is something amazing. Because seeing doctors and seeing lawyers and all these guys, CEOs of companies, pursue hobbies, it just brings a delight on your face. So that's, what the Hobby Tribe does. We are enabling people to be human again.
And that's a very noble cause to be driving your startup by. And you've been running Hobby Tribe for a little over 3 years now, and no process of building a startup is without its fair share of challenges. What would be some of the biggest challenges that you have faced?
Yeah, I would say it's not been 3 years yet. It's been like somewhere around 1.5 years. The 3 years on LinkedIn was because when we first started, we were just like proprietary things. So anyway, getting back to the question, what challenges I would say? See, that's a very difficult question for me to answer, because I never saw challenges per se, but I saw them as opportunities. For me, it was more about, if there was something blocking my way, I always wanted to find a way to go around it, so that we would never come back to that situation again. And that's always helped me grow into another step of my life. I was like, oh, dang, okay, I know how to solve this problem now. When I say about challenges per se, it was very, I think, at least for a start, it was how to try and get people to learn online. But that kind of got mitigated because of the ways we used to engage them and make them come onto the platform. Now it's become a norm. But yeah, I feel challenge is right now is trying to figure out the next big thing, how to keep on growing this into the unicorn's going to be soon. So navigating that path right now, I wouldn't say it's easy because if everyone had a playbook for it, I think it would
Yeah,
have everyone would have done whatever we're doing. So yeah,
right.
that's kind of what I would say for that. Yeah.
And that's a very interesting to have, especially from the growth mindset angle of it, that you're looking at challenges as opportunities. And that obviously leads me into my next question, which is not only are you looking at challenges as opportunities, but those are also instances for you to learn from them and keep growing. So, what would you say were your most important learnings throughout building Hobby Tribe?
Wow, that's a heavy question, man. I feel every single situation had some sort of learning attached to it, right? Like a lot of times we've been in situations where there was cause for concern if this is going to work or not. After putting in all this effort, will it work? One thing we realize, if we don't try, we'll never. So every time now, whenever we do anything, we still go ahead with it, try it out, see whatever it is. Never listen to what people say. If people kept saying something, by now nothing would have happened. Right? I'm of the opinion of until I give up myself, I will never say no, that's never going to work until I myself give up. So that is where what I've learned has worked a lot, because everybody said it's online is stupid. No one's going to do online classes. If I were to listen to them about it, like I wouldn't have been here even talking to you right now. So, so yeah, I feel that's what it would be.
And somewhere along the line, along the journey of building Hobby Tribe, you decided to join hands with Product NX. What made you choose Product NX as a partner to help you on your journey?
Yeah, I feel Product X has been a really good way of for us to have a shoulder to lean on, because the industry experts that they are in the different fields in HR and in tech, it's really helping us founders who do not know or do not have all that it takes the experience wise to be able to understand how to handle teams. Their experience, they're able to mold us into exactly how we got to take things forward, how to grow it, how to scale. Yeah, so I feel that's been of great help, and we are still growing and having this relationship and trying to nurture it and keep it being strong. Yeah, I feel that's a very big takeaway for all of us at Hobby Tribe.
And along the same lines, I'd love to also understand that a little more in detail. What would you say is the most significant contribution of Product NX in your journey?
Yeah, for now, relatively just got, I think we're just 2 months in right now. But from what we have been conversing, it's been, especially these guys, whoever comes on board gets, they're going to have the best time of their lives. Because Adi's really been really patient and listening to everything that we have to say, always there whenever we need him there. Adi, this goes out to you. And but yeah, I feel like one of the biggest takeaways is helping us calm down sometimes, and a lot of times when we are like flustered with a lot of thoughts, they're always there to remove all the BS and be like, okay, this is where you got to go. So I think that would be something that would be great.
That's very heartening to hear. Thank you for that, Josh. And with Hobby Tribe, what would you say are your aspirations with it, and how are you defining success for yourselves?
Man, for me, it's not about being the top 10 companies in Mumbai or India or whatever. For me, success is more to do with the fact of the teachers and the students using my platform actually say it's made a difference in their life. And when we get those kind of feedback, that is exactly that makes me go, wow, okay, we've actually done some good. And for me, my long-term goal is to make, I like to tell this to a lot of people. From Hobby Tribe is like Google for IT engineers. So, for example, every IT engineer wants to get into Google. I want every person who wants to create a career doing the creative arts to have a career in Hobby Tribe. From one spectrum, we are creating a whole new career opportunity for thousands, if not millions, of Indians who want to make a career doing what they love. And on the other hand, we're also enabling people to pursue their passions and their hobbies as well. So I would say that is the aspiration. My aspiration is to make Hobby Tribe a platform which is a household name for people who want to be able to make their lives a happier place.
That's a very honorable KPI for defining success for Hobby Tribe. And I'd always love to close out the conversation with a question that I believe will help our community members. What is your
Mhm.
advice to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Wow. For me, number one advice for is, if you're building something, build something that you're passionate about and not that you've seen other people doing it and go, oh, if he can do it, I'll do it. It'll never work. Because for me, I've seen a lot of other entrepreneurs who are much bigger than us. who have raised more money trying to do the same thing we were doing, they all shut. The reason was because they weren't passionate about the problem they were solving. So if you want to build a startup, trust me, build something that you are personally passionate about and you have faced that problem, or you have a love towards that particular problem in general. And that is when you'll actually be able, even though whatever storms come your way, then you'd be able to navigate through that.
That's quality advice, and I think a lot of our community members would benefit from this. Thanks a lot for taking out your time, Josh, today and sharing your journey and insights with us today.
It was great being here, man. I really love doing these things, and it was really amazing talking to you as well.
Cheers, appreciate it.
See you.